All right, this is the State of the Church. If you want to introduce yourself and say how you're connected to Hillsdale United Methodist Church.
Yeah, my name is Edward Demarest, and I've been part of this congregation for going on probably about 25 years at this point, and live locally, Woodcliff Lake, and have been active in the church probably for most of those 25 years.
Okay, and talking about the state of the church, just tell me what your sense is of how we're doing as a church, very broadly. What do you think?
Okay, I feel since Pastor Brian has been here, we have seen growth. The demographic has actually changed, so we have changed from a congregation of primarily grayheads such as myself to a very, very nice mix of young couples and children. It's become much more vibrant. One of the things I find is somewhat humorous at times. I'll come in early for a church service, so I'll say, wow, the pews are pretty well full. But then there's a children's moment, and the children go off to their respective classes, and it's like Swiss cheese. So I consider this to be a good thing.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So we're doing a good job in terms of being intergenerational, you would say?
Yes.
Okay, is there a challenge in there for us as a church? Is there more that we can do in that area? What do you think?
I guess there's always things that one can do. Just seeing the young people here, I think, at least for me and a number of us older folks, that is a wonderfully encouraging sign. I'm sure there are some of us that would like to see some of the, typical, I guess, a number of us who are older would have a particular affinity to a particular style of worship or particular songs that we grew up with. But there's that too. Mm-hmm. So I think there is a very, very good mix. It hasn't gone to totally contemporary. It's not continued totally traditional as my generation might call it. So I think it's a good mix. Okay.
And how about with the church? Our goal is to make disciples of Christ by helping people to know God, advance mm-hmm. God's kingdom, and do God's will. So we talk about our worship service, mm-hmm. our small groups, and our missions and outreach. So that's a little bit on worship. What about those other areas of small groups and the missions and outreach? What do you see us doing in those areas?
As far as the small groups are concerned, I think that's been one of our strong points.
Okay.
As far as the missions, I don't feel quite as competent to speak to those.
Okay.
We certainly have our outreach ministries to the community, our community of churches with a food pantry, and also with our support of the food pantry and clothing in Patterson. Those are the ones that I'm most familiar with.
Okay, and so small groups, you do some stuff with our small groups. Do you want to say a little bit about that?
Yeah, I haven't been involved with the Disciple program for a piece of time, but that has been ongoing for quite a few years right now. It's about it's for those who would really, really like to delve in and have an opportunity to discuss with other people, read the scriptures, discuss the scriptures together. They usually tend to be anywhere from about 32 to 36 weeks long, so a genuine commitment. It's a small group in the sense that it's not short term, but we usually limit it to about 12 people so there can be good interaction. And then we have done small groups for short term mm-hmm. As well on different topics, different books of the Bible, topically sometimes as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and we've done something called Kickstart, which over 5 to 6 weeks kind of introduces folks that are a little bit new to the faith or want to reinvestigate maybe their childhood understanding of the faith, go into a few of the real basic, what we consider fundamentals of what is it we believe and why, and what does belief mean, and how does that work itself out in our lives. And we've only done one iteration of that, but it's been received very well. Hope to do more.
Yeah, all right. My favorite part is the good food that we get to eat as part of Kickstart. So, so anything else you'd like to say in terms of how we're doing as a church, your sense of our progress or challenges that are ahead for us as a church?
Mm-hmm. I think we certainly have the germ of a lot of good things that have the potential for the church to grow, in terms of numbers and in terms of depth. I think a few more years will probably be required to see whether we do continue to grow physically as a congregation, and will we consider we're seeing through some of these small groups and things like that, I think we're seeing some genuine growth in people where we see changes in lives, and I think it'll be maybe a few more years before we see where that is going. Really like to see a combination of both the church growing in numbers because we're attracting people. There's something positive here, and in terms of actual personal growth, personal relationships, marriages, I sometimes joke about just, because just usually is far more than just. Like to see people, struggle with issues in their lives and work towards coming out, seeing progress and working towards a goal and getting close to that fulfillment.
So if there was one thing more that the church could do to help some of that, either numerical growth in people, new people connecting to the church, or people going deeper in their faith, what might that look like for you? What's something that you think we could explore as a church and potentially move towards?
Good question. Not sure I have any great wisdom for that. It's such a difficult society, so often children, two parents working, that maybe one of the things that just came to light with the Kickstart program that we had, that it was like a 6-week session. Everybody seemed to enjoy each other, and we felt people felt that they had some avenues to explore maybe in their lives that maybe they didn't have before. But then we got together for a reunion about 2 months, 3 months later, just to sort of casually sit around a table, eat, talk about light things, and also talk a little bit about where we were along some of our goals. And everybody turned up. Everybody seemed to enjoy each other. So maybe groups that meet and then periodically come together for a reunion, and maybe some friendships will genuinely started in the interim where they'll continue to keep in contact with each other. But it certainly did seem to be a positive group that came back that really enjoyed being together again and talking together again and reuniting. So maybe with a long course or a short course, that there could be some reunion get-togethers, however that might look, to kind of reinforce friendships that maybe began but need a little, the busyness of life. It's hard to schedule those things sometimes unless they're scheduled for you.
Okay, so there's the struggle of the busyness of life of getting people together, but maybe if we're intentional in bringing groups together that have already experienced the life of a small community like that, that could be a potential for us to rekindle or help to foster continued growth in those relationships.
I think so.
Okay, that's about
yes.
Right. Okay, great. Anything else you want to share? Any other thoughts for the church as we reflect on the last year and look to the future?
Nothing that comes to mind.
All right, fair enough. Well, thank you very much, Ed. Appreciate it.